Hey everyone, I'm Gozirra.
And I'm Bulldog, and we are Pulled Aggro.
This week we are continuing our series on free-to-play games.
That's right, we're going to be reviewing ArcheAge. Now, ArcheAge is an MMORPG developed by Korean developer Jake Song, former developer of Lineage, and his development company XL Games. The game was released in Korea on January 15th, 2013, and has also had a closed beta in China, Russia, and now the US. The game is set for release in the US on September 16th, 2014. ArcheAge is described as a sandpark MMORPG, which the developers say is a hybrid between open content style of a sandbox game and the more structured play experience of a theme park game.
We also have a special guest. We're going to be reviewing ArcheAge with American Avon. And without further ado, we bring you ArcheAge. Now first, we would like to thank you for taking some time out of your schedule, and we'd also like to start off by asking you what drew you to this game.
Certainly. So, I for a long time, a lot of the really hardcore MMO players, the guys that founded the whole genre of massive multiplayer online games, the guys that were real dedicated MUDs and EverQuest, we've always been looking for that sandbox game that went ahead and really highlighted a lot of the key issues that make a multiplayer game a massive multiplayer game. One of those key figures or components is the open sandbox world, which ArcheAge does have, meaning there's no instances, there's no areas where just a certain faction can go. It's open to everybody that's playing. Second thing that really engaged myself and my friends here, because Kneebiter is the one that got me in, is the crafting system. The items in the game are not going to be farmed. They're not going to be given to people that can do 5-man instances. They're going to be created on a world economy stage, meaning that everyone's going to play a part from both the farming and gathering standpoint and also the crafting and upgraded crafting standpoint, where the items that are player made are going to be the best items in the game. The last aspect that I really enjoyed was the risk component. No matter where you went in the world, whether you're going to trade route to upgrade your consumables, whether you're bringing goods to market or just switching zones, at some point you're going to be put at risk to be attacked, at risk to have your items or goods or farming materials stolen, and also at risk just to be ganked in general. So there's that aspect where it makes you join a community and makes you join a guild. Having a reputation is very important because you can't just go change your name. You have to really have a good rapport with your faction and others, crafting, the trading, and above all else, the protection as you're venturing off in the world. So the game really brings back the true meaning of a massive multiplayer online game by getting rid of those small instance-based components in the past that has kind of shunned away the development of a community.
Combat in this game is absolutely awesome, and we wanted to get your take on the PvPvE aspect of this game and how classes play a part in this.
Excellent. Yeah, PvP is very advanced. There's 120 classes. You get 3 of a number of skill sets. The amount of tactics and skills are limitless. Even within the individual classes, you have 57 abilities and you can only pick 23. So even though there's 120 classes, you have a lot of customization inside the individual specs themselves. Everywhere you go above level 30, which is primarily the zones that are going to be heavily involved for the housing, the farming, the crafting, the gathering, the trade routes, these zones are going to go through points of conflict. And so PvP in the open world and the environment is everywhere. It's a very fluid combat system. There's a lot of synergy between not only the skills, but also the different classes that you would be fighting with and against. And there's also a lot of need to express teamwork, because a lot of these battles you're going to encounter, whether they're small scale or large scale, are also going to incorporate the PvE terrain as well as PvE world bosses that may come up in the picture. Really, really exciting. I really enjoy the combat. Even though it is tab target, which is still kind of that old school system, the fact that the abilities are so smooth and it's so fluid really makes the combat enjoyable from a person like myself who really loves the PvP aspect of games.
Now let's go a little bit more in depth with crafting, housing, and farms, along with expanding on open world PvPvE and what the difference is from other MMOs.
So the gears is actually interesting, and the crafting system is very, very advanced. There's a number of vocational skills, whether they're farming, gathering based, or also crafting, that allow your character to create the gear and consumables needed to be in the open world. The very primitive aspect of this system is the gathering. That means the mining, the lumber, getting items that are spawning in the world at different locations. The second aspect is going to be the open world farming. The downside or excitement to this is when you plant something in the ground, someone can actually steal it and take it from you. And the way the game polices this is it allows a third component, which is the homestead and farming component, that allows you to have a plot of land, like you just said earlier, whether it's an 8x8 scarecrow, a larger farm spot, maybe a 24x24, in different environments. The different environments are going to regulate what type of item or mammals or whatever the case may be, agriculture that you can put depending on the needs of those, whether it's cows, a certain type of tree, a type of crop. The fourth component is going to be the trade routes, where you have to bring these goods in theory to a market, whether it's across the continent, across multiple zones, or across the sea, and you turn them into the ports and they upgrade and send you back refined goods that are also needed to continue the crafting. All these items work together in the free market economy, and the only real way they mitigate and prevent it from overscaling is they include a time factor. Most MMOs in their crafting and gathering and farming, they often did not anticipate the hardcore gamer, the guy that's going to flood the market with these resources. And what ArcheAge and Trion and XL Games did was they included labor. And what labor allows is it keeps a timestamp on your character's ability to gather and craft. So even if you have all these resources and you have all the ability to craft, you're going to be limited with the amount you can do per day. So that also helps regulate the economy and making sure you don't overspend on items that may be just flustered and flooded in the market. All the skill sets work together, each components from different vocations to craft the top tier gear, and certainly leveling those up start at level 1. So for those of you that think you need to rush to 50, when you first enter the game, you are starting on your end game goals. So the moment you get in, you're starting its end game, and it's really, really encouraging to have a system that works with the player the moment they log in.
Now, right off the bat, we noticed how beautiful the game looked, from the scenery to the perfection of the water. Alongside that, we noticed that the character creation screen goes really in depth, much further than most MMOs. Could you elaborate a bit further on your take of the look and feel of this game?
The game is gorgeous. I have had the pleasure to really experience a lot of MMOs. One thing that I've noticed in this game that others do not have is that everything is scaled appropriately. If you walk into a city, it's magnificent. It's huge. I mean, there's buildings, there's towers, the roofs, the archways, the gates, the mounts, the doorways. Everything is appropriately scaled to your character. It's not like in games like World of Warcraft or Warhammer or even SWTOR, where you go into a city and everything's kind of scaled down from the bottom up. It makes it look bigger, but in actuality, you feel like your character's a little bit bigger than the city itself. That is not the case here. You walk into a city, you'll get lost. You can walk for hours in the fine detail and everything from the pebbled roadways, the blades of grass, the trees, the little mini quest hubs, or even the main towns themselves is just really, really detailed. And you can tell the designers put a lot of work in the game itself. Very impressed by the graphics, and I really think they set the bar in terms of what other game and game developers need to achieve to kind of get that bar going higher and moving forward.
Now, this game is developed by a Korean company, which most players over here in the West have not had contact with. That being said, what would you change, if anything, to make the game better suit players here in America?
The only thing, so on a scale of 1 to 10, I give ArcheAge like a 9.5. That's just from me as a player that's done this for a long time. The only downside I have that I do not enjoy about ArcheAge, it's really simple. The arenas right now cater to the elite PvP. And I like that. I wish there was a way you could do a joint queue where you can queue with the group, but I understand that by doing that, they're preventing those elite teams from farming out the system. So I understand that. However, I noticed they allow you to use potions, consumables, and self buffs with like food and stand pots. I don't like that, but that's such a small factor. I really can't complain. Everything else in the game is just phenomenal. They put games within the game itself. So there is an endless amount of material, an endless amount of stuff to experience. If you ever log in and you say you're bored, I don't know how you could be, because there's just so much to accomplish, and you never have the need for an alt because you can learn all the skills. So very good MMO so far to date. It may be the most complete, and I hope that the Korean work ethic on really just diving in and knocking stuff out kind of plays out as they continue to update the game in the future.
Moving forward with the game, if you open the map, you see that there are certain off-limit zones in which have the west and the north continent is actually cut off, along with about 70% of the ocean. What do you predict for the future of ArcheAge?
So there's obviously going to be some more races implemented, whether that's 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. So that's on the horizon. There's also not one, but two patches really that we are not seeing in the US right now. So moving forward, you can reasonably anticipate at least 2 years of fresh content coming at a reasonable rate to where it can keep both the players just starting out now, early on, and the players who come in toward the lateral end entertained. Moving beyond that, XL Games still is giving resources and still hiring people to work on ArcheAge. So that gives you kind of a warm feeling inside that they're in it for the long haul. And if they do it right, like you said, with the continents that are hidden and adding in more races and even more craftable items, they could really sustain an MMO for a long period of time beyond that normal 1 or 2 year mark. I'm very hopeful for it, and I think that they're doing all the right things, especially with their community management. Scapes, for example, a wonderful community manager, really engaging within the player base. So if they keep going on that same business plan and keep updating and taking player input for what it's worth, I think they're on to a great start, and they'll go for a long time.
Excellent. So I know you already kind of gave us an overview of the game, giving it a 9.5, but what is your overall impression of this game, and why should people start playing this game?
Right. The game is wonderful, guys. Very, very, very in tune to what players have been asking for a long time. If you like that feel of EverQuest when you started gaming back in 2000, and you like that idea of having a system that's complicated, it's not easy, you don't get those flyby epics, this is the MMO for you. The community's been very wonderful. Everyone's extremely polite. You don't have as many trolls or negative connotations you do in most MMOs, and the game itself is just a wonderful experience. I'm very hopeful for it, and certainly feel like this is a game you want to check out. The PvP is incredible. The open world atmosphere is engulfing, and the crafting system is very rewarding for those players who want to put some time in and have something very rewarding where when you walk by someone, they're like, damn, that guy accomplished a lot. So very good MMO, and I strongly encourage anybody looking for that complete MMO system, that ArcheAge is where it's at by far.
Well, that about does it for us here, man. We really want to thank you for taking some time out of your day and getting with us to do this interview.
No, I think it was great. I really appreciate what you guys are doing. I think it's going to be great for the community, and certainly new players looking in for ArcheAge are going to want to definitely check out y'all's review and what you guys are doing.
Yeah, sure, man. Thanks again. Now, one thing that we wanted to touch upon that we didn't really have time to talk to American Avon about was the criminal point system. And how the criminal point system works is you'll get points if people catch you doing bad things, i.e. stealing crops, killing animals that don't belong to you, attacking same faction players, and also killing same faction players. And you're allotted so many points until you actually have to go to trial.
Right, and now what you're going to see is little blood spots on the ground. You'll see little footprints on the ground. You can go up and click on those. It's like finding a clue as to who did it, and it gives that person the criminal points. Once you hit 50 of those points, you can be sent to trial. And to be sent to trial, though, you do have to be killed.
Right, and then your time in jail is set by minutes. The highest we've seen is about 539 minutes, but I've heard people have gotten in there longer. Now, once your sentence is done, you are freed, or you can actually break out of prison as well. There's certain quests in there that you can do that with. Once you hit 3,000 points, you lose your faction that you're part of, and you become what is known as a pirate. So you are enemy to everybody. But at the same time, it's also another little fun aspect about this game that we enjoy so much.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. You're able to go in and get, your 3,000 points, become a pirate, lose your faction, go out to pirate islands, get with other people, and just continue on killing. Well, that's all the time we have. This has been a review of ArcheAge with special guest American Avon.
I'm Gozirra.
And I'm Bulldog.
And like always, GG, everyone.
Once again, we'd like to thank American Avon for helping us out with this review.
The game is free to play today and is extremely fun.
Check out American's stream with the link below.
And if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, telling us how we did. Thanks for watching, and GG, everyone.